I would like to introduce our first poets. Poems have been written and performed by our students that are going to be showing today. And our first poets.
I was a phenomenal woman until I fell into your clever hands. I never did anything wrong, but somehow I ended up in a prison, locked away from everyone and everything I knew. In the beginning, it was small. I couldn't show any skin, but it was okay, because in the end, you made me dinner. Somehow you bruised me, but it wasn't with your hands. Soon I couldn't stay out late, and I could only talk to girls until girls turned into no one. And you became my only friend. But again, it was okay. Because this time, you bought me a fancy dinner with red roses.
You taught me control. So let me take back the control of my life. I set myself free and I let you go. I am an independent woman and I will grow and grow.
He buys me flowers, opens doors for me, sings me love songs at my windowsill. He is the guy of my dreams. He treats me so good. He gets angry sometimes. Sometimes he can't control himself. But it's okay. He's so kind to me when things are good. He told me everything he does to me is out of love.
This kind of behavior should not be a normal thing. Is it normal to have a partner who has trust issues? Is it normal to cut off the friends you want to talk to? Is it normal to be told that it is your fault that they feel insecure? It should not be. Love is a living thing. It grows and breathes as two people grow it mutually. Jealousy is what causes us to hold our love so tightly, it dies.
Because recently we've had a string of suicides, and from what we can gather, it seems that the trigger has been because of relationship issues. They handed out a styrofoam cup, and they asked each individual who was present to think about one of the heavy issues that you're currently dealing with in your life. And these issues range from depression to anger to jealousy, envy, hatred. And so we thought for a moment about how all those situations that we're dealing with, and just thought about that one thing that really was the most significant, the thing that really was the most burdensome on our spirit. And then one by one we were asked to go to the front of the room, and on this table we placed each of our cups. So one by one we went up and we stacked our cup. And then another, and then another, and then another, till we had a tower. The tower represents collectively all the many issues that each individual felt was a burden on them. And what's interesting is that this tower, as we began to stack the cups higher and higher, it became increasingly unstable. It's so difficult because even just one of those issues is heavy enough on its own. But what happens is when you compound all of those issues, it can almost feel like it's too much to carry. Especially too much to carry for our teen individuals who, the research tells us that your brains are not yet fully formed, and so sometimes dealing with these emotions are difficult. As adults, sometimes we think that those teen issues aren't as real, right? Some adults might be reading this Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month and scoffing at, what is that? Teen violence dating? They might say things like, well, why are teens even dating? Why are we having this month? Well, adults need to realize that at one point in your life, you were teens. You entertained relationships. You went through emotional turmoil. And just like the teens in this room today, if you remember, you honestly reflect, you remember just how difficult it was to carry all of those burdens. And I think through your poetry, you guys articulated some of the really real issues that you teens face, especially when you're in a relationship, that is abusive. What can we do collectively as a community? As we observe this unstable tower, we were then asked to come together and to place our hands on it, one after another, right? placing our hands on this unstable tower of styrofoam cups. And as we placed our hands on the cup, that tower became more stable. Suddenly we could just keep stacking and stacking and stacking, and as each person grabbed that tower of cups, you wouldn't have to worry about the tower crumbling. We need to think about how we can provide support to individuals, teenagers especially, who are dealing with relationships
of physical, sexual, verbal, emotional, economic, technological, or other abusive behaviors by a person to harm, threaten, intimidate, harass, coerce, control, isolate, restrain, or monitor another person with whom they have or have had a dating relationship.
Dating violence at a rate triple the national average.
The impact and trauma of teen dating violence can be immediate and can have long-lasting effects.
Dating relationships do not begin with abuse. Thus, teens who experience abuse may feel confused about what is happening. Abusive behaviors can start to happen infrequently and in subtle ways, as in monitoring interactions with other people, controlling physical appearance, and ignoring or violating personal boundaries.
Order report. Be it resolved that I, Arnold I, Palacios, Lieutenant Governor of the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands, by the authority vested in me by the Constitution of the Commonwealth and laws of the Commonwealth, hereby proclaim February 2019 as Teen Dating Violence Awareness and Prevention Month. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand on this 12th day of February 2019.